right, so we are going to be creating this adorable little bee pencil. So here's what the pen looks like. So it's going to be similar to this, and we're using the Louisiana Saturday Night and the pen charms. So this will come in the kit. So this is a starter kit. We have everything linked in the listing. So if you already have our UV resin and you want to create, you'll be able to easily do so. But I'm going to show you guys how to make this, and then the full tutorial will be saved on YouTube so that you guys can access it later. Let's talk about the pencils that we're using today. Okay, so we've done the Papermate pencils, but now I want to introduce you to an easier product to use. This is so much easier to use, and the great part about it is that it has the refill kit packaged very nicely with it, and it has the care instructions on here. It's got the features of the pencil, and you can easily take the package out. So you can take the pencil out. You can swap out the barrels if you want to, but the best part was when you're done, you can just put it right back in here and sell the pencil right back in this package, which makes it super nice because you don't have to think through all the packaging, getting it to your customer. So you can reuse this packaging. It makes it super, super easy. These pencils, we sell them in our shop, but they are from Maker Flow Crafts. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna take this out of the package here. Now, the other nice thing about this is that you can swap out the barrels. And I'll show you what I mean by swapping out the barrels. So the kit comes with 2 of these pencils. So you're going to get 2 pencils like this, and you're going to get 2 barrels, 2 replacement barrels, which are these right here, which is going to be great. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this from start to finish. You even get your dowel rod and your clips. Hoot, hoot, you're gonna get these. Now the dowel rods are just universal, so what I like to do for those barrels is I like to put a little bit of painter's tape on the edge just to build up a little bit around it. That way the barrel fits on there nicely. Some people have silicone sleeves, or you can just get a 3/4 inch dowel rod. I just know that those are a little bit more pricey and not everyone has access to them, so I'm trying to give you guys workarounds so you don't have to buy a bunch of stuff. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take these off. And just so that we can get started easily, I'm going to show you guys how to take this apart. So we're just going to unscrew the bottom like this. And we are going to just slide that barrel off, and that's it. That's all you have to do to take this thing apart. You're just sliding that barrel off, and we're going to work directly on the barrel. And when we're done, we're just going to slide this back on. Now I have a YouTube video showing how to do a pen wrap on these. So if you check out our YouTube channel, it's under Resin Markers. You can see how to do that, but I'm going to show you how to do glitter. So we are going to just roughen up the surface of our barrel here. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So just use your painter's tape here. And again, it's just to build up a little bit so that it doesn't slide around on your little dowel rod here. All right, so we're just gonna roughen this up a little bit. Don't have to go too crazy. I just like to roughen it up a little bit, just enough for the resin to get a good adhesion, just like you would on your tumblers. You want it to have a really nice adhesion. So we're just gonna lightly sand it. This is just 180 grit, nothing too crazy. Just enough to roughen it. All right, this looks good. It's really all we need to do. All right, and I'm gonna take a shop cloth. So we're cleaning that off. So what you want to look for is just making sure that your shop towel is nice and clean, because you'll know that you're getting what needs to come off on your towel. So just make sure before you get started that it's nice and clean. And it looks good to me. So I am going to put a pair of gloves on. All right, so let's take our skim coat. I'm going to move my instructions because I want to save these so that we can repackage this pencil when we're finished. All right, I'm sliding on one of my finger cuts. So we are just putting a very, very thin coat of the skim coat along this barrel. Make sure you get the top as well. This is going to be your initial coat before that glitter. So just making sure that you have full coverage will ensure that your glitter gives you full coverage as well. We want it to be nice and smooth, nice and even. It gives it a nice, solid foundation to your pen. All right, so this is ready for some glitter. So let's do it. If you want your pencil to be able to rest, so you can multitask, just put your little clips on there and make a little, it looks like a sawhorse to me. Okay, now I'm gonna use the file folder to do my glitter because I try to, and all of my subscribers are gonna laugh. I try to keep the mess to a minimum, but we all know me by now, that's very difficult to do. So this is the Louisiana Saturday Night. This is one of my favorite glitters to do anything honey or bees. That is what I used on that coaster set that you guys saw. Everybody loves this glitter for the honey theme because it is the only gold that is holographic. And it has really nice smooth undertones to it. So it's not like too crazy, but at the end of the day, it's very, very, very cool. All right, we're gonna give this a little bit of a tap and a spin, and then we're going to roll it in this glitter. So I'm gonna take it off of my clips here, and we're just gonna tap and roll. And that's just going to ensure that we get it nice and coated. And it's so satisfying. Give it a little tap and I'll give you guys a close up. All right, so I'm putting my glitter back in the jar here since we're done with that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we are going to cure this. So it's sitting right inside that lamp there. And we're going to cure it for about 2 minutes. Okay, so this is done. All right, so this looks amazing. Give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek. Look at that. It's so pretty. All right, so I've taken my glitter brush, and all the tools that I'm using are linked in the product listing on the website. So I always like to get the rest, the excess glitter. Otherwise, it's just gonna kind of muddy up your pencil butt. All right, so here we go. We are adding our skim coat. Now remember, this is the glitter layer. So you're going to be a little more generous with your resin at this stage. So we're gonna add that. And you still want it to be thin. Don't worry about the bumps. Glitter is not smooth at this point. We are going to make sure that we got full coverage. That's our main goal here. All right, so I've got this nice and coated. So now I'm just gonna spin it a couple times to get it to level out really nice. All right, so this is curing. The next thing we're going to do after this is done is buff it down so that it's smooth, nice and smooth. We want it to be really, really nice and smooth. I'm trying to clean all the glitter off my hands. If you guys are like, what is that noise? It's just me cleaning up messes. All right, so let's see what this looks like. This looks great. I love it. Okay, so let's get our workstation ready for some sanding. And I'm gonna use my file folder since I'm going to be creating some dust. I typically like to do this on a drill. That's my cheat, is I usually put it on the dowel rod and put the dowel rod in my drill. Okay, so here's another trick that I wanna show you guys. So what you can do is put some UV resin on your dowel rod like this, and you can build up a little bit. Just put like a little dot here and cure it. And what that's gonna do is give the illusion that your dowel rod is a little bit bigger, but do you see how it's like right up against that bump? You can push it in and it'll keep it in place and allow you to drill it. So that's an option if you're trying to get around it. You can do it with a glue stick also, but I mean, I have resin right here, so it'd be silly for me not to do it, but that's one other way that you guys can get around that. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. Now in the kit, you're going to get the smaller dowel rod, so you'll have to use tape, or you can build up a little barrier like that one if you want to. So now I'm going to open up my drill, and you're going to have to open it pretty wide because this is a pretty big dowel rod. This one I believe is almost 3/4, but not quite. Okay, so now this is not the ideal length for the drill, but if you want to be able to use the dowel or the clips to hold it up and make it hands-free, this is what I recommend. Okay, so this is water. I always keep water at my workstation. And we're just going to do it over this paper towel. So I'm going to grab a little bit bigger of a piece of sandpaper just to make it easier on myself. This is 180 grit. This is the one that I like the most. This is the grit that I like the most. All right, and then we are going to do this. And I'm just going to hold this up, and we're going to start spinning it. All right, so this is going to buff this down. Now the goal here is to get it as smooth as we possibly can, and the more dull that you get it, that means that it's going to be ready for that next coat. So just apply light pressure, just light, and then let's check it. I always like to kind of wipe it down because you can see the resin here, but it's a lot easier to see the finish, so I can show you guys the difference between the two. So once it starts drying, you'll see where it's nice and dull. Okay, so you can see where it's drying. Do you see how it's dull? Trust the process, you guys. The more dull it is at this stage, the better off your pen is going to be, and it's going to be so much easier for that final coat too. Okay, so you guys can see where it's really dull? That is exactly what you want. So you want it to get down to that really, really dull finish. And then when you put that final coat on, it's going to be a piece of cake. All right, so I'm going to take this off because at this point, it's easier to finish it off by hand. It's a little bit more controlled as well. So look at all that yucky gunk. That would have been dust at my workstation. Okay, so at this point, you can either continue with the same sandpaper, or if you have a sanding block, you can use a sanding block if you want to, but you just want to buff it down the best that you can to where the entire pencil barrel is nice and smooth. Now, take a peek. See how dull that is? That's what we want. Almost done already. The drill does help with the jump start of it, for sure. Good question. All right, so let's take a peek at where we are with this. Okay, see how dull it is? Everywhere except just a few places. That's what we want to concentrate on. Or just those few little last areas of the pencil. Yeah, I think at this point, they try to just layer on more resin to fix any imperfections they have instead of trusting the process and really buffing it down. I mean, buffing it down is key, really. All right, so we're going to clean this bad boy up because he is just about ready for his final walk, the walk to fame. Always make sure that before you do the final coat that you guys are cleaning your hands, clean your workstation, because the smallest amount of dust or sand, glitter, anything can cause a bump in your pen. So if you want your pen to be as flawless as possible, I highly recommend a clean workspace. So I'm wiping this with this shop cloth because it is basically like a microfiber cloth that's disposable. And I do that because I don't want any dust on my pencil, none. So you want to try to get it as clean as you can. You can test it on your glove if you have black gloves to see if there's any dust that you need to take care of. But this looks really good. This looks good to me. So you can test your barrel, move it a little bit, just make sure that it's still easy to move. And this looks awesome. This is ready. This is ready. And I'm going to do the black and yellow charm on here, which is going to be so cute. I love this. Okay, so let's check our barrel right now as it is. So let's take a peek. Not too bad. Not too bad. So you can use your deburring tool if you feel like there's resin inside there, or you can also use an X-Acto knife if the deburring tool, if you don't have access to a deburring tool. But the deburring tool is curved and it swivels. So you're just going to, you know, turn it inside the barrel like that. So let's go ahead and put this coat on so you guys can see. Okay, guys, this is my favorite part, like Heather and Liz were talking about, is watching it come back to life. Now, you're not going to need much on this final coat. It's just a top coat. When you think of a top coat on your nails, you're not gumming up a ton of fingernail polish on your nails. You want it just to be a really nice thin coat, and that's exactly what you want here. Now, notice how I'm sweeping it toward the top and the bottom of the pencil barrel. And I'm not like going like this, and I'm not going like this. I do that because I don't want to push resin down inside the barrel. That's super important. Okay, so on this coat, I want you to see how pretty it is? See how it came back to life? What you're looking for in this stage is any imperfections before you put it in that lamp. Because what happens is if you have dust or something in it and it leaves a bump, you're gonna have to sand that down again. So like right here, let me see if I can show you guys in the light, right there. I'm like, I saw a little bump. I'm just gonna sweep it up to the top. There. So you can get rid of them before you cure it, which is the greatest thing to do. And then just make sure you're rotating it back and forth. Make sure it levels out. It is self-leveling, so as long as you've turned it back and forth a few times before that final cure, you'll be fine. All right, so now we're going to put our little clamps on here. All right, so we are curing this for about 2 minutes. All right, so let's check this. This looks beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. It looks awesome, you guys. Looks awesome. Okay, so let's get our little charm ready, and I'll show you guys how I like to do the charm. All right, so I'm gonna let this cool for a little bit, for a minute or two, because it is a little bit warm. All right, so let's take our base and slide our barrel on. Oh yeah, see how that slides on like butter? That's how we know we did it right. And we're gonna glue this bee to the barrel with UV resin. So I can show you guys how to do that. So now that we've got that done, we're gonna go ahead and glue our little bee. I tried to leave like a little space at the top of my barrel here. All right, we're gonna put a little bit of skim coat. You can use skim coat, you can use original, it doesn't really matter. So just what I'm going to do at the top of this barrel right there is I'm just gonna take my sandpaper and I am going to just scuff a little bit up because I want that UV resin to stick really nicely to this, okay? We're going to put a little bit on our mat. I always put it on my mat. I never put it directly on the pen or the pencil because I want it to be more controlled. That's an important part of it. All right, now we're going to use a silicone brush. And we're just going to apply a little bit of our resin to the barrel. And this is just enough to get it attached, and then I'll show you guys how to seal it in. So we're gonna use a flashlight for that. Now, what I also like to do is put a little bit of UV resin in the bee. And the reason I do that is because it will provide an even tighter seal to that pencil or pen. Okay, now I'm gonna take where I put it. If you guys can see where I put just a little bit on there. And we are going to lay our pen or pencil right on to the bee. And it'll fit right in that crevice of that barrel. So now we're using our flashlight. This is my quick correct flashlight. I like to call it a quick correct flashlight because this is not going to be your end game with your lamp. You want it to be a good lamp if you want it to last. So that was enough just to get it on there and have it attached, right? So now I'm going to add resin around it to seal up any gaps. So I'm just going to add a little bit more to my mat here. So now we're going right underneath the bee. Now remember, the light has to be able to get to the resin in order for it to cure. So it's important to make sure that you're sealing it all the way around in an area that's not going to be covered up. So that's why I'm doing that. I'm filling in all the gaps and making sure that we cure all of the areas. And now we're going to do the other side. And then we're going to stick it in the lamp for the final cure. Perfect. Perfect. This looks so good. Okay, so now I'm curing this only for about maybe 20 seconds, and I'm going to stick it in the lamp. Okay. So that's our barrel. Look, you guys, it's so cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this together so that we can show you guys what it looks like. There's our bee pencil. Woohoo! Isn't that so cute, you guys? Look how cute it looks. So that is our bee pencil, and it is the one that comes with the kit. So you're going to get 4 charms. You're going to get the black and the yellow, and then you're going to get the pink and the white. So you get 2 of each of these. You get the Louisiana Saturday Night Glitter. You get 2 pencils. You get 2 extra barrels, and there's no prep, you guys. It's fantastic as I throw them everywhere. And everything you need. You get everything you need to make these. So I hope that you guys will be adventurous and try to make these, because I would love to see you do that.